Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Live from Georgia, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where once again we are set for more racing action here on this stellar Friday night as we get set to turn up the revs and go racing at 200 miles in Georgia. Welcome, of course, to EchoPark Speedway and to the Zero Torque Racing League. My name is Ola Ramble alongside Derek Watson. We bring you all of racing action from start to finish on this stellar Friday night. Derek, this race here is going to be a wild one as this race is set to kick off in earnest here today. And Derek, I'm excited for this one, right? Second plate track of the season, and it's going to be no less intense than the first.
Yeah, it's going to be really wild, isn't this track? Is really, in the iRacing world, still paved like the Super Speedway version. Still exciting. It's going to be a lot of drafting, but handling matters. Tires, handling, car control will be topics tonight.
Of course, it may be the speeds of Daytona, but at a track that is 1 mile shorter, and this is set to kick off yet another thrilling round of this ever-intensifying championship. So far, Tester, Smith, Murphy, and Wright all locked into playoff competition. Right now, Jason Stenson and Eric Borton both on the bubble, 1 point clear of Keenan Kimber. Daniel Molinari sitting on the outside looking in, same with Ethan Farless and Wayne Graves. A long way to go, though, and these points can shift around in a hurry on a track like this.
And we're at a Super Speedway, so who knows what happens, right? Don't be surprised if someone on that right side, someone who's barely above, and suddenly becomes barely below as this night goes on. So you're right, we're only on race 4 of 22, lots of time left here. But races like this, where anything can happen, can really help shape a season for somebody.
So let's talk about some of the nuances of the EchoPark Speedway. That red line you see, that is the big talking point tonight. Completely out of bounds tonight with one exception if you're coming down pit road. The other big factor, pit road, of course, entering on the back straightaway instead of on the front straightaway like you do at a traditional stock car track, which again, going to up the difficulty factor for a lot of drivers here this afternoon.
Yeah, that out of bounds line is wild, but I mean, it's normal for us super speed racers, but that pit lane, that pit entrance being over in turn 3, and now it's going to catch you a couple ways. It's even more scary. Remember how we talk about how scary it is to pit under green? Look how long that commitment line is. If you get caught down there, you're not safe if the yellow comes out. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out as the night goes on. Qualifying is underway, Nolan. 1 lap for all the drivers, and already I believe 26 drivers have set a time on the board. Only 3 names yet to do so. We'll see if they get one in.
One of these drivers is, in fact, a driver that is looking to fight this one out here in the races here, as he is 1 point clear in the playoff run. Jason Steptoe coming down to the start-finish line, this time by for his one and only qualifying level to be a 31.687. Good enough for pretty much smack dab in the middle of the field. 16th place on the grid for the driver of the number 50. Riley Watson and Kari King Wright, 2 contenders that will not be looking to put down a run here this afternoon. Now, one of those drivers, of course, Kari King Wright doesn't have to because he's locked in, but Riley Watson might be looking to play this race safe at the start.
Yeah, that said, though, if you're a car, right, you want to keep racing all season because you want to have control. You want to be able to kind of see if you can help shape the field a little bit, right? Every time you win a race, it's maybe someone you're keeping out. Maybe it's someone that you're not letting in that wants into the system. So it's still a lot to do. But hey, some drivers don't want to qualify here, Nolan, because you don't want to be caught in the calamity that can happen super early.
Hard to blame them, right? I mean, we've seen how many times race in action here can go awry for contenders, and all of this is going to take us straight through to the end of qualifying, and it's time to see who's going to be starting where, as the starting grid going to be a packed field here today. And starting this race on pole position, it is going to be the winner from Daytona, Robert Tester. Can he lock out his second draft track race of the season? He starts alongside Jonathan Dominics in the Keystone Motorsports Group. Dominics has been having a good run recently. Can he finally lock himself into playoff contention? Jamie Lee Dunny starts back in third. His teammate starting up at second just above him. Then it's Willie Smith back in fourth. Row 3 on the grid, Terrence Murphy alongside Brian Matthews as we drive on back into row number 4. Stephen Blevins with the Umbrella Corporation. He starts alongside the Celsius Camaro of Aaron Longworth. And then rounding out the top 10, it's Douglas Ivey alongside Austin Guerrero.
Going to be back into the next row, row 6 now, back to P11. You'll find TJ Ivey. It's a nice looking photo, by the way, of TJ there. He's next to Ted Gamble in that green and blue machine. Moving back into P13 is Evan Stewart with HB Racing. He's next to Joshua Siegfried back in P14 at number 2. Number 15 is Dave Shively, part of Draft Nights Racing, and he's next to the 50 of Jason Steptoe, we saw qualifying just a moment ago. P17, Dean Howard in the number 9 car. He's next to Adam Hogland back in P18, that number Bright, number 12. And then P19 is Ethan Farless in the red, white, and blue machine, and he is next to John Sheen back in P20.
Row number 11 on the grid, Eric Morton, the X4 number 4, starting this one down to 21st alongside Wayne Graves in the Punisher Camaro down in 22nd. All of these times still within a quarter of a second, and the last driver within a quarter of a second of the pole state are going to be Blake Hullett down in 23rd for the Busch Light number 87. He starts alongside the Hoonigan 707 Mustang of Chris Gaxel. Row number 13, it's Frank Chavez. He starts alongside Ron Malam here. Chavez had quite the step out at Darlington the last time we were out. He is looking to see if he can get a better run going here this afternoon, but 25th place, a rough place to start. Last driver to put down the time, it's Daniel Molinari for Draft Nights Racing. He starts 27th alongside Akari King Wright, who did not put down a time, already locked into the playoffs. And then the back row of the grid going to hold a single car. Riley Watts rolls out the 29-car field this afternoon. Aaron Longworth will have to serve an early penalty here in this one for infractions in the prior races. So a rough way for the number 42's race to start off, and it's going to be hard to serve that with him started on the outside of this racetrack.
Yeah, he's going to have to really kind of back up the car, find a gap to get down, and then get to that commitment line we talked about. So now here we are, 2 to go. Race control has indicated we're not going green this time, so we're going to get one more time around this track. One more time for the drivers to settle in. One more time for those to help settle those butterflies, to maybe get yourself amped up, find out headspace, calm down your Discord chats, maybe turn up the music, turn down the music, whatever you do, and find that headspace. Look at that awesome suit there with the iRacing logo on the front of it, and it says Frontier. That is Ted Gamble back in P12. And boy, when these laps, these pace laps, Nolan, whether you're an oval racer, a road racer, and what have you, these are tough, man. These are tough because you want to get going, you want to get anxious, you're still trying to find your headspace, you're in your Discord chats with your friends. It's hard to kind of get yourself locked in at first.
It really is difficult, Ryan. You got to really make sure that you are completely and fully locked in. And of course, the driver that's going to be sweating the most is going to be Aaron Longworth. He is going to have to come down pit road to serve that black flag, effective immediately upon the race start here. And what he is going to be hoping for is that he gets a very quick caution flag as soon as he comes down to serve that black flag, so that he doesn't lose a lap and can stay out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. But hey, listen, with the calamity of this racetrack, that's kind of what he's hoping for, is once you touch pit road, if the yellow comes out, you're safe. You served that penalty, right? So we'll wait and see how that goes here. But up front, it's Robert Tester. It's Jonathan Dominics up front, and go all the way back to the number 22 towards the back of the field.
Yeah, Robert Tester.
Lots of cars. Yep.
Sorry to cut you off. Robert Tester with an end along his slam penalty serve, as well as Terrence Murphy, Willie Smith, which is why we see them fading all the way to the tail of this one. So it's Dominics, your new pole sitter.
Yeah, Dominic's a pole sitter. He'll get to be the control car and get to have that here. So one more time down the back straight. One more time to think about how you're going to do this, how you're going to pull it off, right? Not getting too big of gaps. This is technically a super speedway as far as how we race it. It's not that big. You know, it's only a mile and a half. But drafting matters, friends matter, teammates matter. But at the end of the day, it's your decision-making, your skills, your patience that will help you win this race.
Pace car going to lead the way through turn numbers 3 and 4, and we're happy you're joining us. Racing action here on this fantastic Friday afternoon as Dominic's going to lead the way out of turn number 4 to the front straightaway. Time to get the party started as they'll work their way into the EchoPark restart zone. It's go, go, go in Georgia! Well, it's not taking this field long to try and get a little bit dicey here. Some guys looking for 3 wide down the back straightaway to turn number 1. The field crosses the start-finish line, and it is Jamie Lee Johnny to lead the way. And oh my goodness,
Big.
you heard a massive crunch coming down the front straightaway, and boy, that is the big one kicking off early on, and that is not what Aaron Long was hoping to see, is that black flag going to hold over him for just a little bit longer.
Wow, I mean, for a lot of drivers, this is unfortunate. There's going to be a lot of drivers here who are hurt. Let's watch the replay and see what's going to happen as it comes up here on the screen. And watch, I just heard some tires skidding, and I heard some calamity happen, some collisions happen. We'll find the replay here in just a moment. Watch this here. Watch the middle of your screen. I first saw the 12 car around, but it's going to happen before that, I think. There's the red, white, and blue machine. Where does it start? Right there.
Right there.
Yep, he got bumped. And then that car who bumped him backed up. I think he got nervous, lifted off the gas. The 12 car got involved, and around they all went.
Jeez, that is a huge hit into the wall.
Adam Hogland.
That's one of the fastest spots on the racetrack as well that you could possibly hit a wall at.
Oh yeah, and it's hard for that dog leg, right? Because it's just it's such a tough spot to race under green when it is normally racing. So watch it again here. So we're going to see a bump from the back right about there. He backs it up. He gets a little bit of wiggle. Oh, Hogland's got stuck up in the wall. I mean, Hogland, literally an innocent victim along for the ride.
Chavez, Murphy, Graves, all getting collected in this one, and that is an absolutely brutal way to kick off racing action tonight. Not the way that anybody was hoping to kick this race off. Aaron Longworth coming down pit road. Now, this might be a strategy call, right? I think he kind of realizes it's going to be really dangerous for him to serve that black flag in the middle of traffic, so he could be coming down pit road for the sole purpose of just getting to the back of the field so it's easier to get down pit road later.
Yeah, why not, right? Why not get down here and see what you can do, see if you can help yourself, put yourself in a better spot. Well, you know what I'd like to do here real quick while we have a moment, while we're waiting, as this caution plays on, is I want to grab a word with one of the drivers involved in this wreck. I want to welcome into the broadcast booth Adam Hogland. Adam, I said earlier in the replay, innocent victim with how I describe you in that wreck, but what's your perspective on what happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, it stunk. No, there was huge checkups going throughout the whole first lap. You know, I got a little loose, let off the throttle, not trying to ram somebody in turn 3 and 4. Had somebody come up the middle, sending it 3 wide into the turn 1, because that's where we're gonna win it, man. So
I'm assuming from the time you saw that yellow car backing up to you to the time the contact happened with the 4 there, just nothing you could do. I mean, that looks slow on the replay, but in real time, there's no time there, right?
No, I had nowhere to go. I felt like I looked, I saw, and I just was along for the ride at that point.
Yeah. Well, Adam, I'm sorry to see here. I'm assuming you're going to tell me the car's done for the day.
Oh yeah, no, it engine cut off as I was flying through the air.
Well, listen, it's always a pleasure watching your race. We'll put you back down with your Penske teammates and wish you a lot better luck next week.
No problem. Y'all have a good one.
All right, that is Adam Hogman Nolan. And you just kind of hear the frustration, right? You can hear that frustration in the voice. And when he says, hey, we're 3 wide on the first lap because that's how you win it, that was more sarcasm in his voice there, I believe.
It's hard not to be upset, right? I mean, you put in all the work for a race like this. You've just come back after having a 1-week break for Halloween, and first race back, and you get taken out on lap 2 of the race. I mean, it's gotta feel, it's gotta hurt, right? Like especially,
annoying.
Yeah,
Maddening,
frustrating. Any possible word of adjectives to use? I'm sure some that are not safe for broadcasting, but
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's, jeez.
Well, all right, let's rack them up. Let's try it again. A little bit different. Jamie Lee Dunning's now up front. Stephen Blevins, Jonathan Dominics, Doug Ivey, and Brian Matthews in your top 5. So we've seen some drivers move up and down a few spots here, Nolan, but a lot of cars down pit road already. Maybe that plays a factor gas-wise. Maybe it doesn't. But it's time to go green and see if it does.
Well, not quite yet. They have waved off the start, and I think just needed to sort out some issues towards the tail of the field of the running order. Right now, Akari King Wright making his way onto the racetrack. Now, Akari King Wright, I believe, actually missed the start for this race. Now, 3 laps down, does have the chance to get back with the Lucky Dog free pass.
Yeah. He's actually in a weird spot, though, where you would want to think he'd be happy with these cautions, right? But when you're 3 laps down, every caution sort of hurts a little bit because every time a new car goes a lap down, it's just one more spot in the way before you can get, that lucky dog, the free pass, whatever term you want to use in that moment. So here he is riding in the back. But, I mean, you and I have both seen our fair share of super speedways where someone 3 laps down in the beginning somehow magically finds their way to the front, towards the end of this race. So we'll wait and see. It's always crazy how it happens and who's involved and who's not involved. But again, Akari King Wright gets to rest a little bit in his mind. He's locked in after that win previously this season. So he's just kind of along for the ride.
A brutal crash on just the second lap will trim our field down from 29 to just 24. With only 23 on the lead lap. So we've already lost, we're talking, what, a 4th or a 5th of the field there in just under 3 miles of racing. I mean, it goes to show, right? It doesn't take much when you're racing this close together for things to go wrong. I mean, there really is no other track like it. You're talking speeds and racing styles similar to 2.5 mile behemoths at a track that's close to only half the size. You're going to get situations like this from time to time.
Yeah, we are. And watch this here. The green flag's going to come out in just a moment. And Stephen Blevins Jamie Lee Dunning will be the leader up front. They'll come around here and they'll go green once again. You'll see him 2 wide back through the field here. And I think it was important to note, you said you're right, it speeds like Daytona, but there's not that space, right? If a wreck happens here, there's not all that extra leg room, so to speak, to find your way around it.
One car exiting pit road. That is Frank Chavez involved in that lap 2 incident, who's making his way onto the racetrack, and already they're trying to go 3 wide again in the turn number 3. So clearly some drivers have not learned the lesson.
No, and it's in a case like this, when you have an early wreck, what happens to the driver mentality is you feel that need to move because who knows when the next one happens, right? Who knows if this is what that race becomes, and you want to get every spot possible while you can. The longer this run goes on, I think it'll calm down a little bit more as we now ride on board with Joshua Siegfried. 185 down the back straight, close to 190 maybe before he backs out of it. And see there, he's just stuck right behind Austin Guerrero.
Yeah, right now Austin Guerrero effectively catching right in the middle, and right behind him, Chris Gaxel having some issues of his own trying to cut the field. That car up top, that is the 51 of Stephen Blevins that has started to slip backwards.
And that's, of course, not a concern if you're Stephen Blevins. Maybe he just got hung out to dry, that no one moved up top to help him draft. But at the same time, listen, it's Atlanta. It's in this style of racing, he can fall back right now, and in 4 or 5 laps from now, he could be back up front and relevant with just maybe a couple of cars helping him draft back forwards.
Finally getting a couple of laps into the books here. Jonathan Dominic's continuing to push Jamie Lee Dunning up front in that number 54 entry as they find their way out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway for the 10th time this afternoon. Outside lane starting to form. Blevins is leading the way up top, and he's got the 9 of Dean Howard. I'm thinking that's Riley Watts up there, nearly getting to the outside wall, just caught it there. The problem is they can't get linked up, so there's no pace up top.
No, not yet, but look at that. Riley Watts, by the way, up a number of spots, already up 8 spots on the night, up in P20. Remember, he started very last on the grid, so he's already up here a good number of spots as the 44 in that sort of aqua blue colored paint scheme. And I mean, he's right now just sort of tagged on to the back of this draft, but it is important to note, Nolan, I think of all the major 3 NASCAR vehicles, as Watts is having a hard time. It is important to note these next-gen cars, draft-wise, these ones punish you the most for being the last car in line. If you're not tucked right up on that bumper, it is incredibly hard to hold the draft. So that's what's happening to Riley Watts right now, and that little bit of handling problem he's having, that's only going to make it worse.
Akari King Wright may have had an issue as that car has taken to pit road, and looking like Akari King Wright just pulled it off to the inside and is going to be done for the day.
It's unfortunate for Akari. You know, he came in here and said hi to us earlier. We seem to sound excited and giddy to get back into racing. So that night has ended early. I'm sorry to hear that for Akari, but he's now going to sit back and watch this race unfold. Up front, Dunning still leads after the restart. Dominic's in second, Matthews, Stewart, and TJ Ivy are top 5. And I'm a little surprised, Nolan, how quickly this has become single file.
I can't say I am. I think some drivers saw what happened and they weren't too keen on it. Other drivers are setting themselves up for strategy, right? Because you got to remember, right, there's also a lot of strategy at play in a series like this. These guys, of course, not running 100% fuel tanks. They're running only 60% fuel tanks, only 2 changes of tires in the pits here as well, so 3 total. And don't forget, stage 1 coming to a close at the end of lap 35, where we're going to award bonus points for the top 10 drivers.
And I think that big story might be the 2 extra sets of tires, because here, again, we keep making comparisons to Daytona or Talladega, and some of them fair, some of them not. But tire wear matters here, right? We've seen drivers go to Daytona, maybe only use 2 sets of tires to win long races. Here at Atlanta, these things are going to matter. So how you save those tires, how you use your extra tires. Whoa, that cameraman, wow.
Boy.
Not sure what happened to him, but whew, long night the night before. I don't know what happened there, but he, I was going to say the tires matter because I got lost. I got as lost as that camera did. The tires matter here, right? With only 2 additional sets, it really could matter when you take them and how you use them to your advantage.
Hold up, look out here. The 2 of Joshua Siegfried getting shuffled out of line and slowing up. They're going to check out Robert Tester big time. Saw him slow up by about 10 miles an hour, and that is the type of running that could very easily bottleneck drivers behind you, right, as their UC Tester, and 2 is inside. The 707 of Chris Gaxel driving through as well. So this track bottlenecks quickly, and when you're up top, there's absolutely nowhere to run and nowhere to hide.
No, there's not. But right now what's going to happen, there's 4 cars in line. If they stay in line and they stay patient, they're going to begin to make a run. And why the part of the reason for that is, Nolan, is when you only get a couple cars in line, you don't have the big checkups you have on the bottom. These guys are likely going to get to run almost full throttle 4 deep, and they will make up time. Every time a checkup happens on the bottom, they're going to get to gain a spot or 2 and work their way forward. Now, the problem they're going to have, as you alluded to that out of that last corner, they are not really in line. Watch, I mean, look, there's your front car. Now they're 3 wide, and now they're just going to go on and passing. Oh, they'll go back to 2 wide, but every time you break that line, you break the chain.
Yeah, so the 707, Chris Gaxel making his way through, pushes Tesla Blazer, look out, his Tesla going to go around up top. That's Joshua Siegfried hard into the outside wall, and that's going to collect quite a few drivers involved as Molinari. You see the 50 of Steptoe down low, cutting right through the middle there is going to be Dean Howard and Riley Watts. Rob Milan gets involved. Ethan Farless is there. And caution number 2 on the night, less than 20 laps in.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Farless and the crowd. And I mean, that was a long wreck. That one felt like it took forever to form, forever to come together. And we'll wait and see how exactly it came together. Watch up in the top lane. Watch that 2 car. I mean, doesn't get a bump. He just kind of got loose. We talked about handling matters. I think he went up the hill. I think he got nervous for didn't want him to hit the car below him.
Yeah.
And he got it loose, got it turned around, and then the 97 and the rest of the crowd just kind of stuck. You know, watch them all trying to slide in. They're trying everything they can to get out of it. And they just can't help themselves.
And that was Joshua Siegfried that got spun around instead of Robert Tester. So my apologies for that. I confused the two for the 22 there for a hot minute. But, you know, like you say, it's brutal, right? And I think you're correct. I think he got a little bit scared when Chris Gaxel right there. You saw him go up the racetrack. It may have given him a bit of a neck coat of a hit as well. And that just piles them all up.
Yeah, I think what happened, I'm guessing, is the 2 lifted as he was coming up the hill. And that little bit of lift and then putting the gas back down caused that weight to shift. Whoa. Car went right on through there at the end. Watch here what's going to happen. This will be on board with Blake Hewlett. Watch from Blake's view. Watch up front. That green car spins around. He's good. He's good. I got it. Just keep going inside. And yeah, you're good. Nice job, Blake Hewlett. And of course, you know, this is one of those times when that red line is no longer out of bounds when you're trying to avoid a wreck.
Correct, yes. The red line rule is, of course, in effect for racing purposes. So you can't go down to advanced position, but if you're avoiding an incident like that, fair game. What are you going to do? Run into the cars in front of you?
I mean, some of them do, but I see your point.
You're not wrong. That could have been a one-car incident. You aren't wrong.
Some of them do, but all right. Well, we're moving along pretty quickly here. I mean, we're already up almost to lap 30 as of this point, and Jamie Lee Dunning's done a great job up front. He's up 2 spots on the night. He has led since that last restart. Dominic's is doing well up in P2, and there's a lot of movers in this field. No, I mean, David Shively's up 9 spots. John Sheen's up 12. Chris Gaxel, by the way, is back in P11. He's up 13 spots. So, yes, we've seen some calamity tonight, but some drivers are having fun moving through the field.
Some drivers that are not having so much fun could include Robert Tester, who has been dropping through the field this race. Same with Stephen Blevins. Blevins, of course, getting involved in that incident here. He is down 12 now. Tester scrambling through the inside. You saw him just barely avoid that mess. He is down 11 after starting this race from pole position. Took the win at Daytona International Speedway, as well as pole position up there, I do believe, as well at the start of the season. So for him, he is hoping for a bit more on his afternoon, and we will not go green this time. They're going to hold it off.
Well, you know what? If we're not going to go green, let's see if we can talk to the driver who really was kind of the epicenter of what just happened. Let's welcome in Joshua Siegfried into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. And Josh, before I ask you what happened, I'm going to say, just from our view, that looked like one heck of a ride here around Atlanta.
Yeah, it was. That was really unexpected.
What, from your perspective, what happened? Did the car just kind of get out from under you when you went back up the hill, or what do you think happened?
It just, the side force from, I don't know who it was below me. I got on the quarter panel and it just set me around. Well,
as we ride around here under caution, want to give us a status update? How's the car? Are you going back out? Are you done?
I'm going back out. It's hurt, but we're gonna work on it and hopefully get it better.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the race. We'll let you get back into it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
All right, that is Joshua Siegfried, and, well, you have to say he sounds a little bit more optimistic than the last interview we did. The car's going to run, so he's in a good spot.
Well, it's going to run, but judging on that front of damage, it's not going to be running quickly.
No. He's hoping. He's like the only driver hoping for a bit more calamity, I think.
Well, the field's going to get doubled up, and we should go green flag racing this time by officially.
Yep. Here's good news for Siegfried, by the way. He's the only car currently a lap down. So you have Siegfried 1 lap down. You go back to Frank Chavez 7 laps down. And then Murphy, Hogland, Wayne Green, and others are back behind that. So if anything does happen, or heck, even when the stage ends, if that's what happens first, he'll get the free pass. That's good news, bad news, by the way. Good news is free pass, you're on the lead lap. Bad news is you burn some time getting that free pass. It is less time on pit road. You get to fix that car.
course, aggression's, I think, going to be hot on this restart as well, because you got that stage coming to a close at the end of lap 35 here.
Yep.
And that is only going to be in 13 laps when we go back to green flag racing. And those 13 laps here, they're going to fly by in a hurry. I mean, we're talking, what, less than 10 minutes of racing easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about 7 minutes probably of racing. And every move will matter if you want those bonus points. And those bonus points can mean a lot over 22 races of who's in and who's out. You and I have called numerous races in this playoff system where someone is in or out by a single point.
I mean, heck, you got 3 drivers separated by just 1 point right now on the bump spot entering today's race for the final spot inside the playoffs as well. Although those playoffs are not kicking off for several weeks yet. Green flag is back in the air. Dominic's this time by has a jump on Jamie Lee Donning trying to go around the outside.
Oh, who was that back in P4? Is that Evan? TJ Ivy, sorry, I got the name wrong. That was TJ Ivy, just kind of squeezed himself down in there and made it work. But now they have left a car up top all by him lonesome, and there's drivers trying to get there, but they're not going to do it. 1, 2, 3, if not more spots back is Jonathan Dominics. He's hoping a car pulls up in front of him. He's hoping those cars behind him catch him, and he's hoping he can get himself back to the front before the end of the stage.
Coming on down and around to the turn numbers 1 and 2 as the drone chases the field through the opening couple of corners and down the back straightaway. And they are going to be in it to win it here with Dunning still way out in front, still unable to allow drivers to get through. And what he has been doing is burning the most fuel out of anybody in this race so far.
Yeah, he has done that, right? So he'd be the one who would need gas the most. Of course, that stage break will, at least for the moment, alleviate that concern, because everyone's going to stop there and put more gas and tires. Well, I would think tires, but there's actually only 2 extra sets. Who knows if everyone takes tires on that lap count? So we'll wait and see here. But look at this. They've got it simplified out all the way back to Austin Guerrero. That is back in P5. Then it's Tester and Ivy side by side. Chris Gaxel's back there, and even more is now they're back to double file racing.
10 laps to go in stage number 1. As Evan Stewart still not making the look on Jamie Lee Dunning for the lead. New fast lap of the race set by Terrence Murphy in the number 5, and that car coming all the way back 17 laps down at the tail of this field with the draft, and man, they nearly went 3 wide as the 24 Guerrero jumps up high.
Kind of amazing what you can do with
there we go.
Oh, there's another one.
And we got one car
Guerrero's
potentially almost going over there. That was the 55 of John Sheen that got up into the air.
Guerrero, John Sheen. There's another car that can't see what that is from. It's a 47, I think it is. That's Ted Gamble back there.
Yes, it is.
Stuck up against the wall, and 3 more cars added to the list. Boy, at this rate we're going, buddy, the list of cars not involved in the wreck is going to be shorter than the list of cars involved in wreck. What's going to happen here? Let's find out as the replay queues up. Watch the Rainbow Warrior car, the 24 to your left. He wiggles up the hill, and then he just gets bumped from behind, and then on he goes. And you know, this is that frustration a driver can have sometimes. Oh, a little bit of hit there with this style of racing. Is some would argue the 22 makes the bump, and somehow he's going to drive away, and then everyone else behind ends up in a wreck.
Well, I wouldn't even say that's all on Tester, though. I mean, Guerrero, you saw the back end starting to come around, and there's not a whole lot he can do there.
That's the wild card of this style of racing, right? I mean, Tester's going to get involved right here, and any other track, if Tester made that kind of move, you know, of just making the bump either inadvertently or on purpose, he likely stays back there and gets involved. But in a track like this, you can kind of find your way around, and he's going to be up through the field. So, unfortunately, we're going to watch on board here what's going to happen. Yep, and that's Tester. Oh, front, and that's Ted Gamble. Yeah, there's right in your living room.
That was Dean Howard, by the way, in the number 9 that shot John Sheen up into the door of Ted Gamble, and this is going to bring yet another host of drivers into pit road.
Buddy, look at the list of drivers that have been on pit road at some point for a caution. We're up to basically, I think only 9 drivers haven't pitted so far, and most all those have pitted for damage at some point in any of these cautions. But wow.
can actually take a look here as there is the latest pit stop times for all the drivers in this field. And obviously, if they have a dash, they have not come down pit road. And the further down you get the grid, the more of a story it tells.
Yeah, the more story it tells. So Robert Tester right there is sitting in P6. He pitted on that first caution, but everyone else there up through, P12 has not pitted yet. So you see this kind of that Robert Tester's out there. And I mean, for Tester, it's not going to be a big advantage. Now, what I would wonder right now in my head, Nolan, if I had to come in and fix minimal damage on this car, what would I do? We're only a few laps from the end of the stage. Do I put tires on it now and see if I could flip the pit strategy? I don't know, man. It's hard to make that call putting my 2 additional sets on the car right now. But if I do it now, I could stay out under the stage brake and get back to the front.
I don't know. I mean, tires definitely have a much bigger impact here than they would at any other super speedway. And of course, the tire where we've talked about it before, right? It can be grueling at a track like this. But I don't know if you get much of a benefit by trying to flip that strategy. I mean, you're going to be burning those tires off either way.
Well, I mean, not that many laps. We're going to go yellow in a few laps again for the end of the stage break. So only a couple laps on the tires. And, you know, the theory about this style of racing, which isn't always true, is that the further you are in the front of the field, the less likely you are to be involved in what's next. But isn't it just amazing for a style of racing that from the outside, some people think looks so simple? It's speedway racing. You stay in line, you draft, you get those big runs, you have fun. The reality is there's still lots and lots going on inside the helmet. Lots and lots of decisions to make, lots and lots of moments to avoid to be good at it.
It'll be 6 to go in stage 1 when we take to the green flag. And another lap or two, Derek, and we will run the risk of the stage being called early as a result of a yellow flag coming out. Of course, if it comes out at a certain point where the stage would have ended, they just declare the stage early at the time of yellow flag, and top 10 points get awarded from there. That's typically inside of 4 to go. Green flag back in the air. Jamie Dunning jumping to it, getting clear early here in a terrible launch for Evan Stewart.
I mean, both of them, I would say, got terrible launches in the term of the style of racing we're doing. Neither one of you want to get a big launch and have a gap to the cars behind you. This gap of cars will swallow you up and come find you. Up top, there is a car up top. Again, he moved from the top to the bottom and back to the top. That's a 37. That's Evan Stewart. Now he's got pushing help, and he could be up front here by the end of the next lap.
Headed down to the start-finish line, 5 to go. Jamie Lee Dunning continues to hold the top spot. TJ Ivey right behind him in second. Evan Stewart trying to pull the outside lane with him, but he bobbles from the inside. It's going to be Brian Matthews, the main pusher, up top. Robert Tester, Jonathan Dominics also in the fray. TJ Ivey going up high, and Dunning goes up the block.
Oh, and boy, that's a move right there that is scary to watch that block happen from Ivey. And because at this style of racing, what you cannot do, Nolan, you cannot lollygag. You cannot kind of, slumber your way through a decision. You have to just kind of make it. You have to snap those calls up and high and whatever way you want to move. You hang out in the middle of the lane like that, you could cause a big wreck.
That outside lane's got one of the best runs that it's had all night long so far, and it's showing no signs of stopping. Evan Stewart has pulled all the way up to the door of TJ Ivey. He is now battling for second place with 3 laps to go, and Jamie Lee Dunning trying to block 2 lanes at once, but sooner or later, he's going to have to make a choice to be bump from the inside for TJ Ivey.
Yeah, you have to make a choice. It's probably going to be right now which one you're going to do here. But for Jamie Lee Dunning, the inside lane is typically the right call. I say that as he has continued to pull what you and I would know as the Dale Jr. move, the old Pied Piper of super speedways, trying to run both lanes. Pit road infraction, for Daniel Holman. He'll need to come down pit road before this stage ends and serve that. He was trying to question it to race control. So he didn't think he deserved the speeding penalty, but I think it's going to stick. Hold on, wrecking in the back.
And this should do it. If this brings out a caution, it does not. That's the 85 of
Oh,
David
no, it doesn't.
Chivoli. It will not bring out a yellow flag, so we will keep on racing here. iRacing deeming that was not worth a caution flag. 1 lap to go in stage number 1 this time by, and Dunning's got all the advantage.
Yeah, Dunning's doing a great job at running this lane and keeping everyone at bay. TJ Ivy is going to have to look. He's got Douglas Ivy right behind him, so the Ivies could work together, maybe make a pass. The problem is right now up top, Evan Stewart's kind of blocking them both moving up here. There goes TJ without Doug. Do they get linked back together? Here we go, final time in the stage.
Dunning driving it in deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Can Ivy get there? The answer is no, and it's going to be Jamie Lee Dunning taking the win in stage number 1. Top 10 of the line, it's Dunning, Stewart, both Ivies, Tester, Gaxel, Matthews, along with Blevins, and Dominics, who will get stage points.
And breathe. Take a second now as a driver. You've had 35 laps to figure this race out. 35 of 133 laps to figure out what to do here. A bit of a kind of a live science experiment, a live practice session, if you will. But for Jamie Lee Dunning, that's a stage 1 win.
Take a look at what happened with a couple laps to go here to David Chivoli, and they went 3 wide. He got help from Jason Steptoe, spins him around, overcorrects, and clips the outside wall. Then he's going to spin down the racetrack right to the inside wall, and it looks like that right front got hit into the wall at the worst possible opportunity for him.
I agree with that 100%. Would agree completely. So a couple apologies happening across the iRacing radios as the pace car catches the field here. The lucky dog, as we said, will be Joshua Siegfried. He'll get to come on around and put the track on the lead lap. Was that?
That's Ron Milan that just...
Guerrero and Ron Milan.
What is going on back here?
There's another car spinning up the track. It's like there's virtual oil down in it. What in the heck?
Ron Milan lost it first, and then Ethan Farless lost it right after.
Did he lose it, or did he get help losing it? For that camera angle, it's hard to tell, and I don't want to cast him in dispersions without saying too much, so watch it here. That's going to be, remember, this is under yellow, guys. This is under caution. He comes down. No, you're right. He just... Sorry, and I apologize for Austin Guerrero. The way that car was coming down with our camera first caught, I thought for sure. And then there's Farless. He tried so hard to avoid it, he kind of ended up in it somehow.
Well, that brings us straight to pit stops, where Jamie Lee Dunning is currently making his way down pit road. Interesting enough, not everyone has come down. Smith and Blevins stay out.
I mean, again, you have to make some kind of strategy call here. Watch and see what happens to this car for tires. And let's watch our leader here. See what Jamie Lee Dunning does. That left side never pops up. Fuel only, yep. And that appears to be what I can tell for most of pit road. These tires they're like gold in currency right now.
Well, and we ran over half the stage under the caution flag, right? So why not stretch the tires out a bit longer and go 2 for 2 and stay in both stages? Yeah,
the flip side though is like this is a guaranteed caution right here, right? I mean, in theory, we could go a while before another one, and those new tires may not mean much because of the amount of laps you could say we ran under yellow. But as this run progresses, if it stays green, new tires right now will prove to be king in probably about 15-20 laps from now. Right now, the advantage may be kind of somewhat level, but it'll show its ugly head if this stays green.
First 35 laps rate is in the books. There's one more stage break in this race, and that will be on lap 70 of this 130-lap race. That is just past the halfway, and after that, barring any further crashes, it will be green to the end. So, and remember, these stages are so critical, right? Because it also grants you an extra bonus point going into the playoffs once the points get reset.
Yeah, and that is important, right? That also helps you to the first round or two of the playoffs to be able to advance and find out what's going to happen. So again, stage 2, as you said, ends at the end of lap 70. Then we're going to be green all the way through. We'll see what happens and how this race shapes out. But we're going to go around one more time here at Atlanta. We're I think they're adding extra laps to make sure everyone kind of gets lined up correctly. That everyone, isn't in the right spot. There's no confusion. There's no weird black flag and all that stuff going on. And our our stage 1 winner, Jamie Dunning, I believe is going to be our next interview here. So let's go and welcome in Jamie Lee Dunning into the Green Flag TV broadcast with Jamie, winner of stage 1. How did that feel?
It felt great. There's much needed points. You know, I'm sitting P10 in point standings right now, and it helped me out. It's going to help me out a lot for the remainder of the season. Can't wait to see what the rest of this race brings.
So what's it like out there? Obviously up front, probably a little bit more calm, but you can kind of hear the calamity. You can probably hear some of the voice chatter. What are you hearing down there?
I'm just hearing, a lot of strategies, between myself and my teammate, Jonathan Dominic. We've been talking about, what we should do, throughout the race. I mean, we had a perfect opportunity since we both started on the front row during this race to just link up and just control this race from the beginning to the end of the stage.
All right, so last question. You're going to now start P3. What's the goal here?
The goal is just to keep the car clean, no fast repairs, so any sort of damage, you're basically going to put yourself out of the race. The main goal is to get that checker flag at the end in a solid position. All
right, buddy, we'll let you get back to it, put you back down with your Keystone Motorsports Group teammates. Good luck, and we'll see you later.
Thank you very much, guys.
And that is Jamie Lee Dunning, and maybe because of the circumstance of the interview just being stage 1 winner versus being involved in an incident, that is by far the most calm driver we've talked to all night long.
He's only led pretty much every single lap of the race. I can't imagine why he'd be calm.
He's only heard rumors of what's happened back there.
Well, I'm sure he's seen a bit of smoke in the mirror, so it's not all rumors, but he doesn't know the scale of what some of these races have led to.
Yeah, seeing it and hearing about it are two different things.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here. In the meantime, coming up on Green Flag TV, tomorrow it's the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series with the penultimate race at Milwaukee. The SRA Super Speedway Blitz is at Las Vegas on Saturday as well. And then, of course, it's a big day on Sunday as the first 24 drivers will get set to try to lock themselves in for the Classic IndyCar Series' 8th running of the Indianapolis 500. You can join us started at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the first of 2 qualifying days. And then, of course, the 500 will be taking place on the 23rd of November. Green flag coming out this time by, and it will be a 30-lap run, just like Stage 1 was. Stage 1 35, Stage 2 30. So shortest stage on the night. Green flag is back in the air.
Pretty quickly, look at that. Jamie Lee Dunning is all over the back end of Stephen Blevins, trying to get that push to happen. Willie Smith's going to get a push up top. That's going to be, I believe, from TJ Ivy up there. But look at the difference in those 2 lanes. There is a humongous gap in the top lane. That's breaking that draft. Every millisecond, it stays that way.
And this time, the outside lane not going to falter as we saw in the first stage, as Willie Smith really holding the outside of Blevins, and TJ Ivy trying to fire up and around the top, as well as Ivy trying to drive her in deep. We talked about Ivy really wanted to take the fight to Jamie Lee Dunning. This time he's got him around the outside line, and your Stage 2 runner-up around the Stage 1 winner, and Blevins just with no speed down low.
No speed. That was a humongous push, by the way, from TJ Ivy to Willie Smith. Willie got a huge run. Now the problem Willie's going to have, though, is as this draft lines back up with that gap he has, does he become a sitting duck? Does he become someone that they just swallow up with the draft and they get too much speed and momentum? They've caught back up to him a little bit. And heck, there's even Jonathan Dominic trying to work the top side.
Well, Jamie Dunning not content to sit behind as he's going to jump up to the outside. He thinks, well, it worked for them. Maybe it'll work for me, as he looks to drive up high, and he's going to try to link up with Daytona winner Robert Tester, who still runs back to the 6th place spot.
Yeah, doing a great job as everybody so far through these first couple of laps, kind of finding their space, moving up and down the lanes, trying to find a comfort spot. You see Dominic's back down to the bottom. You see Jamie Lee Dunning's back up top. So sometimes at these races, it's more about where you're comfortable. What's faster, or what's better, quote unquote, is often determined by how comfortable you are. But man, I keep seeing drivers get up this hill in the top lane. He said Dunning do it back there through 3 and 4. I would always be more comfortable on the bottom with the way this track is behaving.
Well, it's a lot of cause and effect right now, right? Because a lot of the reasons why drivers are going up is because drivers on the bottom are being caught with the side draft and being washed up the hill with them.
Sorry, I got excited about the lap car. They did fine in the very last second. If I was a lead lap car, I'd have wanted that to happen about 3 seconds sooner. But you're right. I mean, the cause and effect. I mean, Jamie Lee Dunning's is all up that hill. And, you know, who knows what it is. It could be the setup. It could be driver comfort. It could be how this track is behaving. It could be the driver's force feedback settings that are kind of driving that car for them. You never know. But Lee Dunning is doing a good job at trying to hold on to this car.
Brian Matthews, a bit of a step out right behind. Same story with Evan Stewart. Although so far everyone just holding it clean in 2 lanes. Hold on, and Stephen Blevins going to get muscled into the middle. Jonathan Dominic's pushed up the racetrack, and that lets Tessa jump down low. And
Dominic's get up there.
Yeah, Dominic's saying, "Yep, no, thank you. I'm getting out of here."
Yeah, and that's okay. If you use that red line, they back out and get to the back of the field. No one's going to complain. The complaint would be if Dominic's had gotten down there and then tried to make a pass. That would be out of bounds.
Boy, these guys are getting dodgy up here, aren't they? I mean, they just cannot sit still as right on board with Robert Tester, and then right behind him, Brian Matthews struggling to keep up pace as well. And this front four, they are, holy cow, pick a lane, right?
I mean, part of this could also be that tire wear. Remember, no one's been that eager to take tires so far. So now we are running, 40-some laps on a set of tires at Atlanta, a track that just, again, yes, we know it's known for its drafting line, but this is still a tough track on those tires. So now we're beginning to see, I think, some of the effect of tire wear. And as those tires wear more and more, you're seeing more cars up in the wall. You're going to see more cars breaking draft lanes.
Oh,
and you'll see
boy.
this draft circuit break apart.
Brian Matthews getting shuffled out. They're going to be 3 wide.
Ugly.
The quad oval in the round going to go Evan Stewart. He gets taken out by Rob Malam. Slides up the racetrack. Everyone's going to miss him. And caution number 4 on the day. Or is this 5 now?
Well, if you count the stage break, I believe it's 5.
I think we're counting the stage. We'll make it 5.
I think we are too. So yeah, we'll make it 5. So I think the word for that right there is inevitable, right? You could feel it. You could feel the tension. You could feel the drama. You could feel everything happening. And what's going to happen here on the replay? There's going to be Milan. He's going to get up top. That pink car with the breast cancer awareness ribbon and the 37 is going to be the one that's going to go around. He's actually going to get caught by the 55 of John Sheen, I do believe.
Yep.
And then that's what's going to cause this. So
and
that's going to be interesting because I thought if we could see that again.
Sheen definitely had
John
at least 2
Sheen
wheels
below the line.
Yes,
I thought so too. Yep.
Well, the question was he avoiding an incident now? Because Evan Stewart was a
he
little bit slow.
Watch it again here. I mean,
or did he get forced? Because that's the other thing, right? You can be down there if you get forced.
I don't think that's forced. I think you could have backed out. Like that's a choice you have, is to back out and to kind of ride. We all have that choice. We're only on lap, 40 some out of 130ish. You can't do that kind of stuff, guys. You got to back out. We'll wait and see what race control says post race or during the race, but I think that's definitely a red lane violation.
Split decision here. Willie Smith, Jamie Dunning coming down pit road. TJ Ivey stays out. They are not the only ones, as you got quite a few drivers from deeper in the field that are coming down as well.
Boy, after how hard Dunning was getting up and down that hill, it's almost not surprising to see Jamie Lee Dunning coming in here. I'm guessing this, for everyone on this pit road right here, this has got to be a tire pit stop.
Yeah, there's no other reason why you would pit here right in the middle of one of these stages. And it's looking like it's going to be a call from the top 8 to stay out. And this is going to be interesting because the tires here do impact speed a little bit because those tires were down enough. You got to start lifting in some of these corners.
Yep, 100%. You see right there, Willie Smith already off of pit road. And there's Murphy and others. So maybe still some different strategies being played here. I thought for sure it was 4 tires for everybody, but how quickly some of those drivers got off of pit road, that can't be 4 tires.
Well, all of this is going to lead us to yet another pretty wild stint here, and racing action going to be kicking off in just a little while. We'll take a quick step back. Be back with more on Green Flag TV in a second. Stay with us. Racing action continues in a moment from Georgia.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are getting set to go back to Green Flag Race at about a lapse time here. You're watching the Zero Target Racing League on Green Flag TV. My name is Will Rempel alongside Derek Watson. And Derek, it has been a brutal afternoon of racing here so far. We have not gone more than 10 laps clean by my count.
No, we haven't yet, and maybe that'll clean up, maybe it won't, but at some point it's got to, because the amount of attrition we're seeing so far. Remember, we started, 30-ish cars. We're down to, I think, 27 on, or sorry, 17, pardon me, on the lead lap. So we're knocking them out pretty quickly here.
23 still circulating the racetrack. Drivers that are out of this race include Ted Gamble, Dean Howard, Akari King Wright, Adam Hoagland, Eric Morton, and Wayne Graves. Some of those drivers not even making it past lap 2 of this race.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Some people have made it past that, and some drivers probably feel like they're just so busy avoiding wrecks. But those up front are the best so far at avoiding everything. TJ Ivey, Robert Tester, Doug Ivey, Blevins, Aaron Longworth has made his way up front. Heck, Chris Gaxel staying up front. He's up 18 spots on the night. So there's been some drivers who've done some good things. I think there'll be some drivers who maybe their names would be on the list of involved in multiple things, but eventually this has got to clean up, because the number of attrition tells us that eventually, if it doesn't clean up, the pace car is going to win this race. Or at least it'll be the last one standing.
Of course, all of this with the schedule continuing to fight on through. Next week is the first proper short track race of the season, the Richmond Raceway, and boy, if there's some tempers left over after tonight, Richmond is one of the perfect places to sell them, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the whole weird, like the whole Virginia's for Lovers thing. They've not seen the racetrack, apparently. I'm just saying.
No, they have not. It seems like Richmond is an exception to the rule.
Yeah, it definitely is. Green Flag's back out here. TJ Ivey gets a big jump on the field. That puts the 51 and others on back to that. Stephen Blevins, Robert Tester, and others. And already that second lane's forming. People were shoved up top there, Nolan. That car, that's the 42 of Aaron Longworth. Ivey, he didn't have a choice. He got sent up top.
Oh, hold on. We might be crashing again in turn number 3 as Chris Gaxel gets shut down by the 33 of Douglas Ivey there, coming down to the turn numbers 1 and 2. Robert Tester attacking TJ Ivey up top for the lead, coming out of turn number 4. And boy, they're kicking off like it's overtime here in Atlanta.
They don't know there's, a lot of laps left. They're ready to go right now, buddy. They are moving through this track, and Tester's up top. Ivey's on the bottom, and they both got pushers on back. The 33 on the bottom, the 51 up top. That's Ivey and Blevins on back. And boy, if you were TJ Ivey and you have Doug Ivey pushing you, that's got to feel good.
Tester trying to hold down TJ Ivey, though. He is not content to let him run away with that spot. And it's obvious here, right? Douglas Robert Tester, he wants this lead, and he is willing to, play some draft games to go and get it.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't he? He is willing to do what he can to get up there and lead this race. It's Robert Tester. But look at this. I thought this race was going to cool down and come off. We are too wide as far as the eye can see.
And looking for 3 behind as Willie Smith gets caught in the middle. Aaron Longworth cuts him a massive break and backs out. Terrence Murphy will likely be doing the same with the 87 of Blake Hewlett up top, and back out they will. So these drivers continuing on as you look at it from the air. And again, when you look at it like this, the track looks like it's got a lot more room than it actually does. But you go in-car, and again, it tells a different story.
Well, and the worst part of the in-car, if we keep right here and we'll watch on board here, is going to be this dog leg up front, right? So here we come through 3 and 4. Looks pretty good right now, but there's something about the visual acuity, this part right here. This dog leg freaks a lot of drivers out. It gets so narrow and so short in your vision. It really doesn't. There's a lot of space there. But I think it's that sharp left-hand turn from the bottom lane that makes you feel like you're stuck in that dog leg if you're on the bottom.
And that's not just an Atlanta issue, right? We see the same thing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Yeah, Texas Motor Speedway. Heck, even the old Atlanta, you see that happen all the time.
Yeah, it's something about that acuity that gets you, man. It's a hard visual trick to teach yourself. It's a hard habit to learn that you have more space. You'll see a lot of drivers, and here at the red line's out of bounds, but in a place like Charlotte and a place like Texas, you'll see drivers cut the grass right there through the dog leg because they just don't know where they are.
Something happened back here to put some of these drivers a bit further down. Look at Blake Hewlett all the way up by the outside wall. He actually caught the wall and then nearly took out Joshua Siegfried. That is a save right there.
That is wild how that worked out. Siegfried, poor guy's already had 1 bit of damage tonight and almost got himself involved in a second incident. Remember, Siegfried back on the lead lap after that lucky dog run. Ethan Farless would be next, by the way, in the red, white, blue machine if another caution, or when it does come out either for cause or for the stage break, which, by the way, that's coming up here not too far from now.
There is Farless off the draft all the way to the tail of the field. So remember, if you get involved in an incident as well, you void your lucky dog. So at least being all the way back here, he's not at risk of getting involved in a crash.
Yeah, very unlikely, right? Chances are low, at least in that case. But right now, up front.
Oh, speaking of crash, they might be getting ready for one here.
Oh, buddy, there's Terrence Murphy to the middle. There's a car down in the bottom. I think it was John Sheen. They've got it worked out for now, but these guys are racing hard. These guys they're going for it every lap right now tonight. I mean, that's what's going to happen, but did cause that 2-wide racing to break up. Now it's probably 10, 11, 12 cars deep, a single file bottom lane.
Just 4 laps away from the halfway point in race number 5 of the Zero Torque Racing League at the EchoPark Speedway. All the way up top is Jason Steptoe fighting his way around the 51 of Stephen Blevins. Looking like finally we're starting to get a little bit more organized back here. Or are we? Hold on. Steptoe's loose. He's loose. He's going to catch it. And he'll hold on in 4.
Boy, Siegfried was almost along for the ride for the second time tonight. Had Steptoe lost that car right there, it was probably going to wiggle right up in front of Siegfried, and he would have been stuck there. Now, Steptoe moves down. Siegfried becomes the leader of the top lane, and he's going to get a small smidgen of a push from those 2 cars on back. But, man, these lanes are just moving every which way, and there's not a calm moment in this race, Nolan. Cars are moving up, down, left, right.
Hold on!
Every other way they can. Hold on, one's below the line.
Brian Matthews sliding the back end out in turn 4. He pulls it underneath him. Great effort from Brian Matthews to keep that car underneath him right on board.
Yeah, that's a great ride. Want to see on board of this because that looks scary just from our camera point. This is on board Brian Matthews. See the car up ahead here. You see a car in the Siegfried up top. He just touched that red lane, and that car just got all kinds of unpredictable, it looks like.
And the transition kind of sucked him into it. And again, that is something that can easily happen at other play tracks, right? You're talking about that happening at Daytona, at Talladega. There's plenty of opportunities for something like that to happen. Even at other tracks, they have a sort of like kind of half transition going down. Oh, and we got one more round, and this time it's Gaxel, and he has hit the wall hard, and he's going to collect others.
Certainly did. And, oh, boy, they're still caught again there. There's Willie Smith involved now. There's a 23. He might be okay. He might have held on the brakes and got it sideways, but there's at least 3 other cars, I think, involved in this wreck right now. As this is likely our stage break.
I don't know. They might let them go again. Jeez Louise. This was the initial save with Gaxel. This is what happened here. Boy, Dunning had the nose in there, and Gaxel seemed to just turn down on him.
And Gaxel had been having a good night all night long before that. He ended up a good number of spots, was up really racing pretty well, and now likely this, oh man, the extra hit there from Willie Smith will do more damage to that car. Here's the 23. He just was on the brakes trying to slide it in, and I mean, you know, you're Canadian, curling is more of your thing. That's why he actually made contact. He was in there like a curling event right there, just kind of sliding into the spot. Get a couple sweepers in front of him, and, you know.
Yeah. You saw as well, the 37 of Evan Stewart actually take a pretty hard lick into the inside wall. Also trying to avoid. There's Chavez going around, and then watch Stewart here. Boom, into the wall.
Yeah, lots of hard hits. I told you the attrition keeps coming in this race. You know, we were down at 17 cars in the lead lap. I suspect after this, we might be down 1 or 2 more in that moment. No word from race control yet that I've heard in my ears, Nolan, about if we're going to go green yet again or not. I mean, I agree with you. The math has worked out, except for the fact we've been delaying these greens to get cars lined up correctly. So I don't know.
Try to get confirmation on that, but until we hear otherwise, this stage is still going.
Yeah, I agree with that. You got to race as if the stage is still going until you get told otherwise. And I would suspect if we've not heard it by now, then it's going to have to go, because it's not fair to these drivers to call the stage now, because they've made some decisions about pitting or not pitting based on the fact that we're going green again here.
Well, the obviously, if they were to call the stage, it would have been at the time of the caution, but it would still impact you likely for afterwards, and still awaited word, and we will update you as we get that word. But I mean, 3 laps for the end of the stage, and we should, in theory, be getting the one to go here this time by. Assume we get an extra extension, that would put us with a 1-lap dash.
Boy. And that is both a positive and a negative, isn't it? With the way this race has gone tonight, a 1-lap dash, people being desperate to get some stage points, that could be a scary thing for some of these drivers here tonight. So, boy, oh boy, Robert Chester is your leader. TJ Ivy,
oh boy,
is in second, and we have now been told that we are going to race this to the end of lap 70. So, assuming we don't get called off here, this right here is lap 68. So we're going to have 2 laps to go. 3 laps to go. 69, yeah, basically. To solve this. 2 laps to go.
2-lap dash. It's going to get interesting here now.
Like a stage break green-white checker, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is, actually.
Boy, and this right now, I mean, you got to think if you're someone just on the outside, if you're Roddy Watts, who's on P11, if you're Ethan Farless in 12, Austin Guerrero, and that number 24 back in P13.
Oh, boy, hold on. The 24 of Guerrero.
Speaking of Guerrero.
Coming in hot there. I thought he was going to lose the back end. We've seen that a few times off of turn 2.
Yeah. These guys have got to be desperate, right? Remember, these points pay out, these bonus points, and they mean something in the playoffs. So if you're just on the outside, if you're anyone right behind Blake Hewlett and Stephen Blevins, you've got to be desperate here with 2 to go. And you've got to be desperate instantly, because the moment a caution does come out here, that's the end of the stage, and that's where the points, will be assigned.
Tester coming back at it here. And he will lead the field back to the green flag. TJ Ivy to his outside. Jamie Lee Dunning. There we go. I keep confusing Dominic and Dunning. I don't know how, but I keep doing it. These three drivers, though, have gone at it aggressively for the lead of the race the last 20 laps or so, and they're not going to yield just because you got 2 to go now.
Buddy, Ivy is stuck. Look at that big gap up top. Unless something happens here where someone moves up, the 33 or the 45 moves up. I don't see how the 88 stays relative here, but here comes a car back there. That's Aaron Longworth. He's going to have a push coming. Oh, he pushed him all right. He pushed him sideways.
Oh, boy.
They're going to stay green for the moment. White flag for the stage.
Final lap in stage number 2. One car has just clobbered the wall of the front straightaway, and that's going to be Riley Watts slowing now in turn numbers 1 and 2. But meanwhile, it's Tester, it's Dunning, it's Ivy. Jamie Dunning up top. Ivy's going to have to try to make that look down to the low side. But right now, Dunning all the way up to the outside, trying to pull around the top side of Robert Tester for the win in stage number 2. Jamie Dunning coming to the line, gets him by about 8 thousandths there.
Wow, caution is out for the stage here. So we'll slow it down once again, and boy, that's a race. I hope that's what the finish is like here in about 40, 50 laps or so.
Take another look at this one here, and this is coming down to the wire. Both drivers, they kept it clean all the way to the stripe, and by only about 8 thousandths of a second, that is how much the 54 got the 22.
Wow. And weirdly enough, TJ Ivy, you saw him kind of parked in the middle there. He probably could have controlled which of those two drivers got the stage win by pulling behind one of them, giving that little extra bit of draft and push. But he stayed in the middle and made him drag race it up to the line.
So stage 2 officially in the books here. And now we get to see what pit stops are going to be like. Quite a few drivers came down under the latest yellow flag. Stephen Blevins should be looking to take over the net race lead.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the right. We'll see who does and doesn't come down pit road here and what does happen. Remember, this would be another time where drivers could come down and take tires and gas. We've seen, of course, some very... whoa, there's a couple cars coming up, and I have some questions about that because you were committed to pit road. So we'll wait and see if anything comes of that. But that is odd to me. That's Stephen Blevins up there that did that. We'll keep an eye on that.
So Blevins and Hewlett, so far no black flags. I think they may have gotten away with that. And everyone else into the box.
I don't know how you get away with that, but nonetheless they did. Let's watch the pit stops and see what's going to happen here. Coming down pit road, and it's going to be tires, I would suspect here. Again, there's the right sides finally for Tester. And now the left sides, and he'll pull away. But look at that, a bunch of drivers ahead of him did not do that strategy.
Fuel only for Dunning, Dominic Guerrero, and Siegfried. 4 tires for Tester on back.
Well, it's kind of just a moment here to take a breath, to kind of catch your cool, to get ready for hopefully what's going to be a run to the end here. Now we go all the way to the end. The stage breaks are over. Now we're headed towards lap 130 after working here on lap 70 some. So we'll see if we can get this thing to stay green here.
So all of this as the field getting set to return to green flag racing here, this time by, or next time by, assuming we do not extend the caution flag. Field quickly fanning out 2 by 2 wide, as some drivers will have to catch up to the tail of the field, and they are going to seek to extend it here this afternoon. So we're going to take ourselves with a step back and when racing action returns. Green flag racing resumes at the EchoPark Speedway. Stay with us. Stage 3 coming up.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are seconds away from return to the racing action here. We're over the halfway point this afternoon, and with under 60 laps to go, we are gearing up for the end of round number 5 of the ZTRL Racing League's run here at the EchoPark Speedway. 29 started this race. Out of those 29, 21 remain, and only 16 are on the lead lap. First car laps down is Daniel Molinari, who is right now 4 laps down. Pace car pulls down and into pit road. And Stephen Blevins going to lead the field into the restart zone. And the green flag is back out for more here this afternoon.
Well, let's see how this works out, buddy. We've seen a good number of crashes early in these runs from people impatient. Now let's see how this plays out right now. Stephen Blevins is up front. Jamie Lee Dunning's on back. Blake Hewlett has moved his way up to P3, now P4. Blake, a veteran of Green Flag TV broadcast. We've seen him come out here and race and have good runs before. Maybe we'll have another one here tonight. He pulls down in line behind Siegfried, by the way. That's Siegfried back up in P4 after the run he had earlier. And I thought that car was too damaged to continue, but it's back in P4.
Yes, sir. Siegfried using all of the caution that we've been having over the last several laps. He has slowly but surely been running these guys in more and more and more. He's gotten more and more of the car fixed to the point where it almost looked like it just rolled off the hauler.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages of this type of racing with all the yellows he's had, is that he gets all that time to fix that car, doesn't he?
Hey, if you can get the car fixed and stay out there, why not take every opportunity you got? If the field's going to keep wrecking to give you the chance, take full advantage of it.
Boy, the moves in the back still are just so wild. There's cars up and down the track, left to right, left to right. I don't know if it's the track, Nolan. I almost think some of these guys must have way too much force feedback in their wheels. I bet for some of these drivers, I bet those wheels are driving your car and not the drivers.
Chris Gaxel has had a problem on the back straightaway, and the 707 entry is now way at the back, 14 seconds off of just the next closest driver. This is what's happened to Gaxel. Alongside French Chavez, back in comes around, exiting turn 4, and eventually he's going to go screaming into the infield.
Well, goodness for him, that wasn't down pit road. That would have been a penalty for unsafe pit entrance, possibly speeding and more. So while it's bad to see him loose again here on the track, at least there's some positive to that moment.
Stephen Blevins coming around in the turn numbers 1 and 2 as Jamie Dunning right behind him. Single file for most. This is, of course, the longest stage of the night. And so far, the pack showing good speed and looking like, oh, whoa, we got Siegfried all of a sudden way up the racetrack.
Well up the track, and that's sort of that old Valve half-light, colored orange. The video games you remember from the past, that's that orange reminds me of. Some people might call it McLaren orange and different factors, but still a good run so far. He's nice recovery, I should say. For Siegfried's got it back down in line right in front of the 91. And now he'll try to find his way back up front yet again. Nolan, you're right. This is the longest stage lap-wise, but knock on wood or whatever lucky charm you believe in, if this stays green, it might be the fastest stage of the night.
And oh boy, as far as it, just as you were saying that, he starts to wiggle around, and I thought we were about to lose another one. Derek, you got to be careful with that. I had a real bad curse last night for Martin Flute last night. I mean, I quite literally said he's having one of his best performances, and 2 seconds later, the car was spinning around in turn 2 all by himself. It'll happen. It's been bad recently.
It really has, hasn't it? Yeah, we've had a bunch of them be really bad, but for the moment, we're kind of single file back through the field and see a couple cars. So Skyline Chili car and Terrence Murphy, he's up a little high and running along, but it just, man, I mean, I bet there's a number of drivers. I mean, I said this could be our fastest stage of the night time-wise. Remember, we're not done pitting. No one could make it on gas if we do run this stage green. And I say that to mention, I bet there's a number of drivers who are excited, who are elated, who are just hopeful to be able to get down pit road as soon as humanly possible and put on that left set of tires.
Field's getting a bit dicey deeper in the field here. They went 3 wide for a moment with Terrence Murphy and more. I think Frank Chavez is also 3 wide. Deep in the pack from being 9 laps down. But everybody that's on the lead lap right now are all running single file. And a lap car up top, and that's Gaxel after having his big spin off of turn 4. He's going to lap down.
And that's disappointing to see that for Gaxel, who had a good run most of the night, was up a good number of spots, and he's got to keep telling himself, I'm not out of this. I'm just 1 lap down. I mean, heck, I'm running, in his case, P16, 1 lap down. I'm the only car a lap down. So if or when calamity does break out, if he can avoid it, he'll be right back in the lead lap.
45 laps to go. Blevins, Dunning, Dominic Schulich, Carrero, Ivy, Tester, the other Ivy along with Steptoe for the top 10 as they run. 45 on the boards, and Derek, what do you think? How long before this kicks in overdrive again?
I mean, that could be any moment now, but I think the next nervous moments for a lot of drivers is probably when we get to that spot where pit stops happen, where we come down pit road and get everyone lined up and get everyone on the brakes. And if under green for the first time, getting checked up into turn 3 is a difficult task.
Well, some moves being made deeper in the pack here as the 28 of Brian Matthews jumps up to the outside, going to take Ethan Farless with him. Terrence Murphy considering. Probably going to opt against that. Oh, he does go up to the top side. How about that? So Joshua Siegfried down low, but man, Farless is making me nervous. That car cannot hold a straight line.
Well, he's not alone in that, is he? You see on board with the Reese's Pieces car here for M. Brian Matthews. Of course, the Reese's Pieces. Fun fact, Nolan, they became more popular back in the 80s, you know why? Because of the E.T. movie. And it turns out the Mars M&M companies offered that sponsor spot to put the M&Ms in the movie. They thought the movie was going to flop and not be that successful, so they did not opt to have M&Ms in the movie, and Reese's Pieces stepped in and became more popular because of it.
I've heard that story before, and it gives me a smile on my face. It actually reminds me of Screechy Moose Motorsports. One of their current sponsors on their car, they actually, and this is their real-world street stock, right? They have that sponsor, because they went to one company to ask for sponsorship, but they said never in a million years. So they went to a different competitor and said, hey, do you want to sponsor us just to spite these guys? They said, absolutely.
Listen, I have to ask, you're a little undercultured in the movie scene. Have you seen E.T.?
I have not seen E.T., but I do know what it is. So I'm not so uncultured that I'm completely oblivious to its existence.
Fair enough.
But I can, I can still hear you like leaning further back.
Listen, if you've not seen Shrek, you've not seen E.T. I just thought that. I knew the answer to that question.
Shrek? I haven't seen Shrek 2. We've been over.
Oh, that's right. Yes, right. You've not seen Shrek 2. I apologize.
I'm not that uncultured. Don't insult me.
Close. Well, up front, Stephen Blevins is leading. Jamie Lee Dunning is back up in P2. Dominic is back in P3. Hewlett is back in P4. And this is a good run up front. This has been a quiet run so far. It feels like the drivers left just want to ride here, but now, darn it.
You were saying.
Again, there it is. On the back of the track is the 55 of John Sheen. He's turned around, and I'm just going to make a prediction. When you're turned around at 180, you likely didn't do it alone. I might be wrong here, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say he did not. There's some assistance.
Jack the Soldier in the YouTube chat commenting, have I seen the Polar Express? Yes, I have. Again, I am not that uncultured. I have.
You'd be surprised.
That hurts. That's hurtful. That's just mean. Taking a look back.
Let's watch what happens in the replay here. Yeah, sorry for being goosey, kind of wandering on here. But here's John Sheen. There's Terrence Murphy behind him. There's Farless up ahead. And John Sheen, yep, there it is. I told you. I thought there'd be some help.
Check up. I don't think Sheen could really find a lane. Now, that's an interesting one. I thought he would have gone into the outside wall, not the inside wall.
The way the car's turned, I think, is what matters in that case. But, yeah.
Yeah, true. At speed.
At speed.
Kind of like they actually got moved up and out of the way, doesn't it? Let's run on board here. I don't think we're getting the full picture of this. Yeah, he got moved up a little bit. There was a check in front of him, so it wasn't all on Sheen. Well, a big host of pit stops underway here as well, Derek, as they feel these drivers are having a bit of a moment here. They come down pit road. It is fuel only for Hewlett, for Ivy, Tester, Longworth, and Steptoe. Stephen Blevins back in sixth. The first car to take 4 tires in field. Jamie Lee Dunning taking 4 right behind. Same with Jonathan Dominics. Farless taking fuel only. And then everyone else taking either fuel only or damage repairs. So once again, we will restack, re-rack, and get set for another one. Coming up in the month of November for the Zero Torque Racing League. We talked already about Richmond Raceway, also dubbed as the Action Track, coming on up next week for 180 laps. And then the third crown jewel event of the season, a prelude to Classic IndyCar Series' Indy 500 on the Sunday of the 23rd. On the 21st, though, it will be an 80-lap trip around for ZTRL in the Cup Series. And then to round out November, it'll be the Kansas Speedway. That will be race number 8 of 22 and race 8 of 12 of the regular series season. That will be on November 28th. Also, we talked about some of the races coming up on Green Flag TV all the way up until Sunday and pole day for the Classic IndyCar Series. That evening, it is going to be the... on Monday, it's going to be the High Tide Racing League Premier Series. They're going to be out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Monday night. The Mid-Atlantic Racing Series takes to the last great Coliseum as Bristol Motor Speedway will rumble to life with Xfinity action. And then the Premier Sim Racing Outlet Motorsports Truck Series with their penultimate race. It is cutoff day for the round of 8 at Circuit of the Americas. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday night alongside round number 5 of the Beer League. And, of course, Speed Cup Series, they closed out their championship just last night, only about 24 hours ago. And they will be back in 2026 in February for more. Once again, the caution gets extended. Blake Hewlett currently up 22 positions. The hard charger by far of the day. He is joined by the likes here of Jason Steptoe up 10, Riley Watts up 15, RJ Malam up 11, Molinari up 10. Quite a few movers and quite a few droppers as well. Drivers that have tumbled down include Willie Smith, currently on pit road. He is down 18, the biggest loser of the day. Terrence Murphy down 16 and right now 17 laps down. In terms of drivers on the lead lap that can recover, you're looking at Matthews. In 12th place, he is down 6. Dominic's down 7. And Derek Green Flag is coming out this time by with 35 to go.
Yeah, it certainly is, right? And I would think there would be some drivers right now who obviously just pitted this time here on lap 93, and there's probably some drivers wondering in their head if they could lift and save or if they could make this work. I think it's going to be for some drivers is going to be a little close, by the way, on the gas, but it's something worth following as this night goes on. The number 87 is up front. That's Blake Hewlett, and we'll wait and see what happens here. But if you're Hewlett, if you're TJ Ivy, this may be the worst seat in the house, weirdly enough. You and I have talked all night long about how being up front was a savior, right? Because you're out of the calamity, you're out of the danger zone. But if you're up front and burning all that gas, I don't know if we're going to make it. This will be a good puzzle to wait and see.
94 degrees Fahrenheit, that track temp going to continue to cool as it is almost 6 p.m. local time. In Sim, green flag is back in the air and racing action resumes from EchoPark Speedway. Blake Hewlett able to get a good launch here. TJ Ivy trying to cut back into line, but there's no room down there. Robert Tester fills the gap, and Aaron Longworth will look to try and put Ivy outside of a podium, and a bad bump from Blevins pushes Ivy up the racetrack.
Boy, everyone backed off. Everyone kind of got out of it. You see right there, there's going to be Jamie Lee Dunning getting the bottom. And now that top lane is falling apart quickly. If you're a driver up there, it's got to be frustrating. In fact, I know I've been up there as a driver before. It is frustrating when that lane falls apart, because you want so bad to get a draft up there. You want so bad to make that lane work, and it does work. It's just that drivers have to be committed to it and not hop down the moment that, something happens.
That outside lane starting to form some momentum, and unlike what we saw in the opening bout of Stage 3, drivers not nearly as eager to get back in line as they were before. And could this create a bit of dramas further down the line? Right now, Robert Tester continuing to hold strong, and Aaron Longworth up the highest position he's been all night into third.
Yeah, and a great job for Longworth. He's up now 5 spots on the night, but he's been up and down the field a couple times, has Longworth, and really would love to have a good night and help set himself up. That car behind him, by the way, that silver car, Jason Steptoe on the bottom, that silver car there, the 4th on the bottom in your picture, he is up a number of spots. That right now is 11 on the track. So as this race moves on, it feels like the drivers who are patient are finally finding their way to the front.
31 laps up the track for Varlas, nearly into the outside wall in 4. Holds on to it for now. Joshua Siegfried.
Car below the line, but I think Steptoe got it okay.
Hey, dipping 2 wheels below is fine, so long as you don't go to advance your position.
Well, speaking of dipping and luck, that car right behind Steptoe, he got up the hill after hitting that red line. We've seen that happen already to a couple other drivers. That red line not only is out of bounds, it's also sort of like the danger zone, like the floor is lava almost, because you touch that red line and the car is not happy.
So far, Farless doing a good job on this one here as he holds clear. Stephen Blevins maintaining the run up top as the primary, well, trying to be the primary pusher with TJ Ivey on that outside line. But right now, it's a struggle to even get to the back bumper. And I have a feeling that Blevins more using arrow push to try and shove that 88 car along.
Yeah, I don't really see too much contact with the back of the bumpers. And in a track like Atlanta, there's only really one safe spot to do it where you can get any kind of real push in, and that's down the back straight. You don't want to push through the corners. I don't want you pushing me through the dog leg. So the back straight coming right here is the only place I can see it happening. Look how much he closes up there and tries to make it happen.
So the battles continue on. Under 30 laps to go. Blake Hewlett getting the chance to lead a good number of laps up front. Tester back in second. Not trying to go for the lead. I think Tester right now is content to save a bit of fuel. And now the big question comes in. Can these guys go the distance on fuel? As contenders drive up to the outside line, Blake Hewlett, Robert Tester, TJ Ivey, all caught in the mix as Aaron Longworth holds the inside. 27 laps to go. Ivey looking up high, trying to get around Robert Tester. Oh, gets a little loose. He gets a hold of it. Farless up into the outside wall. Dominic's and Dunning go evasive.
What was that word we used earlier? Inevitable.
Yep.
That word is starting to creep up again. And at 27 to go, and it's all the movement, all the wiggles, all the touching and the feeling and everything. It just it's something about it, man. And it's weird as race car drivers. It's easiest to see. It's like how Dale Jr. can see the draft. When you're a race car driver, you can feel the wreck coming. It's like, I don't know how to frame it. It's like when like an old person that can feel the rain in their bones from the arthritis. As a race car driver, you can feel the wreck coming. And I'm telling you, I might be wrong, and it's starting to slowly go away.
Oh, boy.
But I feel the wreck coming.
Big check on the inside line there as drivers scramble left, right, and all the way up to the top side as well. And that gives the outside lane a massive head of steam. TJ Ivey down to the inside for a moment. Now he jumps back up top, wanting to help out Stephen Blevins. Blevins still running to the outside line. Down to the turn, numbers 3 and 4. And boy, what a fight we are seeing develop here at the EchoPark Speedway. It was clean for a while in stage 3, and I think all the chill is out the window.
Yeah, now we hear, I mean, look at this, we're 20-some laps to go, 24 laps to go, and you can't be chill. I mean, it's 24 laps to go. That is roughly, what, 12 minutes of racing? It's not a whole lot of time. 24 sounds like a big number, but at 30-second lap times, with how long it takes to build a draft run here, for some of these drivers, they're going to get one shot left at this, right? I mean, short of a caution coming out or short of something happening, like look at Steptoe back there on the bottom of your screen in that silver car. He's going to get probably one chance to make a drafting run here if he can make it happen. So he has to make the best of this move. He has to be aggressive, and that applies to many drivers back here. You're running out of time. Tick, 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 tick. But the other thing I wonder about still, put in the back of your head somewhere, Nolan, who is good on fuel? Is everyone good? I don't know.
If they had 100% fuel tanks, everyone would be good, easily. But they're not, right? They're almost half. They're limited to only 60% capacity in the fuel tank. So that means what would normally be, say, a 100-lap run around Dover, that turns into 60 laps. That is an insanely short amount. And when you're at a track like this where you're running almost foot to the floor for a good chunk of it, that fuel's going to burn quick.
The thing, though, is not everyone is foot to the floor, and you can kind of see it in how some of these lanes form and how the big bubbles occur. Like, look up top right now. Look at the difference between the 2 car and the 91 car. That's not by accident. That's that 91 lifting. He's maybe, I'm going to guess, 80% throttle. And you'll see it happen. Dominic's on the 45 is really good at on the bottom. You'll see the kind of those bubbles exist between him and the driver. He's kind of let that draft pull the car along. He's given some gas to it. I mean, because even if you can't make it on gas, everyone has to stop. How long you're on pit road matters. So if you're that 91 car back there, you might be saving more gas. And, you know, let's say rough numbers, if everyone else needs 5 seconds of fuel and you need 4.5 seconds of fuel, that half a second matters on pit road.
We have so far not had a repeat winner in the first 4 races of this season. Is today the first chance for us to get a repeat winner? Robert Tessa right now is the driver that would be the most likely contender based where he's been running. He has not won since October 3rd, where he took the season opener at Daytona. And other than him, I'm struggling to find drivers that are in any position to make an argument.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, the weird thing about this kind of racing is everyone's still in contention. If you're on the lead lap right now, if you're on back through P18 and David Shively, I could argue you're in contention. You see one good run, maybe one good wreck avoidance, one strong draft run. This is now a car to the bottom. That's a lap car, I do believe, down there. And everyone is still in contention. But up front, Blake Hewlett. You know, Blake in the past, when being on races on Green Flag TV, Nolan, he has gotten friends at the bar to turn on the broadcast, and so we've been live in bars before for Blake Hewlett, for his friends to watch him race.
Oh yeah.
In other leagues, so that's a cool moment to think that I've been a voice in a bar before, and I don't even know about it.
Riley Watts with a problem out of turn number 4. Going down onto the front straight. We'll take a quick look back here, then we'll cut back to live pictures. But Watts, his gambit coming to a close. You see him down low on the racetrack. That was him letting by lead lap traffic. That car, of course, has quite a bit of damage already. And then, or has he just come down to pit road by himself? He's just come down to pit road by himself.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
oh, no, he did spin it there. You just saw him with the back and twitched out and went into the grass.
Fair enough, but he was already down there committed, so I mean, he was already going to pit regardless, but yeah. Well, back live, look at us, some 2-wide racing, back a little bit in the field here. There's the Reese's Pieces car talked about. There's Jonathan Dominics. So that's Ivy, Dominics, and Brian Matthews. Jamie Lee Dunning, a stage winner who led a bunch of laps towards the beginning of this race, is marred back in this draft, trying to find their way back on around this. And in a way, it's funny, when we talked to Dunning earlier, Jamie didn't have any perspective of this race other than what it was like to lead, basically, and now for the first time, they start to understand the frustration of being back in this draft.
Jason Steptoe, one of the drivers that got caught up really early in just the second caution of this race, doing a good job now to lead the outside line as he heads up the train from Dominics.
I'm going to challenge that. Oh, hold on. We're hearing our first calls of pit stops here. I think I just heard.
Oh, boy.
A bunch of them now coming down pit road here. That's, I think some of these might be lap cars. Frank Chavez called it off here. I know I heard that. So let's see who comes down. There they are, down pit road in the bottom of your screen. And there's the 23 down. So we'll see who comes. That means we now know that some drivers can't make it on gas. So we'll see when these pit stops finish.
Oh, hold on. Caution in front straightaway, and we got a big mess up here in turn number 1, up into the outside wall for Dominics, and Jamie Lee Dunning, one of the dominant cars of the day, caught up in this one. And well, if there was any doubts on fuel, that has been officially settled.
Yep, that is done. That is put to bed and done for the evening. I'm curious what kicked off this wreck. We were watching cars come down pit road, and all of a sudden we heard the call of caution on the track. Here's Austin Guerrero on the bottom. Watch and see what happens. There's Terrence Murphy on back. But watch it up top. It's John Sheen up top.
3 wide.
They're 3 wide. And
Dominics
there's Sheen and Dominics. I'm not sure if they made contact or Sheen just got loose up there, but regardless, they made contact eventually. Sheen kind of gets away with it. Austin Guerrero completely got away with it. But Lee Dunning and the 45 did not get away with it.
Not as bad of a wreck as I thought it was, honestly. That could have been worse.
Yeah, a car scattered made it look way worse than it was. But yeah, that could have been horrendous. Well, here it is one more time. Let's see what happens up top. Is there contact?
Nah.
I don't know.
I don't think there was, but it's hard to argue that there would have been with how quickly it was coming up the track.
I'll accept that right there. That's the big part of the wreck. Jamie Lee Dunning and Jonathan Dominics, 2 former lead cars, now wrecked here. We're just a handful of laps to go. Watch it again here. Watch up on your right side.
Yeah, they were going to hit regardless.
Yep. Now there it is. You're right. 100%. Oh, and unfortunately for Dominics, just nowhere to go, and pinned Lee Dunning against the wall.
So Blake Hewlett leading the way. Ron Malam leading the field down pit road, and they're staying out. Okay, then.
Wow.
Talk about a gamble. They're hoping that there's not going to be overtime. They can save fuel under the caution.
Well, let's find out. Let's see who we can ask. I'm seeing if we can find our race leader. See if we can get him dialed up and see if we can find out from Blake Hewlett himself. Is he is? He's part of Garage Mahal with Frank Chavez, who unfortunately is involved in some stuff earlier. But let's go and welcome in our current race leader, Blake Hewlett, into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Blake, it's good to talk to you again. But I have to ask you this straight up. I'm going to ask you, and you can refuse to answer. It's your prerogative. But you stayed out? Question mark.
Yeah, I planned on taking my last set of tires, and I was looking in the mirror, and I'm like, I don't know. I probably took the wrong call, but
well, I think more than the tires, I think some people might be worried about the gas.
Oh, I'm fine on gas. I got 15 laps to go with my cycle. So, yep, as long as we don't go too green-white checkers, I think I'm good on gas.
All right, well, fair enough. Well, I'm glad to hear that for you. So you're worried about the tires, worried about maybe hanging on here. Obviously, I'm assuming you're glad you're up front.
Yeah, I was kind of hanging out in the back purposely earlier because during practice we saw how we were snapping around when we kind of packed the air on the back end on some worn tires. So I was just trying to avoid some wrecks, get lucky, and so far so good.
Fair enough. Well, listen, I'll put you back down with your teammates at Garage Mahal. Good luck, and I know we're going around one more time here, but good luck, and we'll see if we can talk to you later.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, that is Blake Hewlett. We'll put him back down with his team here. 1 second. Can't be that hard to do, Derek. Nolan, he seems confident on the gas. I was surprised. I thought that was a topic.
You'd think, but apparently not. To be fair, I mean, the drives that came down pit road, one of them was on a stint of 44 laps. And the 12 laps, that would have put these guys to, what, around 30? That means they would have been around, what, 15 laps to the good? It's hard to say because we haven't had a chance at green flag stops all night long, so we don't really know what the field when it was going to be entering tonight.
Yeah, so... With that said, I think it's worth noting what Blake said. He's been hanging back. He waited to get up front. He was 15 laps to go. So I'm curious what that means for someone who wasn't hanging back. There could still be a couple drivers who may be on the verge here, especially if we get to overtime, who could be stuck. By the way, speaking of drivers up front all night long, after that wreck, Nolan, Jamie Lee Dunning has called it a night. That car is already getting packed up and leaving the track 11 laps early.
That's tough. He started third place tonight, was up front, led pretty much every lap in stage 1, almost every lap in stage 2. What a shame.
Yeah, it sucks, man. That's the nature of this racing, though. You never know when your number gets called and what happens and how it works out. But right now, up front, up 22 spots is Blake Hewlett. That is the best by far. Robert Tester started tonight on the pole. He's out right side on the P2 right now. And this is going to be a fun race. Plenty of drivers up and down the field, up a number of spots who've been able to hang on. And I don't know. We're going to go with 9 to go. I'm hoping it stays green all 9 laps. I'm skeptical that it stays green all 9 laps. Yeah, skeptical. I said skeptical.
Well, you have any hope. That makes you more less skeptical than I am. I think this race is fully going to overtime. I mean, it's almost a staple of EchoPark Raceway nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like Daytona or Talladega, right? There's 3 certain things in life: death, taxes, and you're not going green to the finish at a super speedway.
Fair enough. We'll wait and see if that holds true. But right now, I mean, it's funny. I made this analogy a couple nights ago, and some of the drivers laughed when they heard of it. If you're Blake Hewlett who wants to win a race right now, there's that old analogy of butterflies in your stomach. And I said during the Premier Sim Racing and Truck Series a couple nights ago that those butterflies might be sea lions with how big they are. And wait and see if that's true for Blake Hewlett and if he can overcome it.
Green flag coming out this time by 9 laps to go. Blake Hewlett leading the way, looking for his first win this season. It would be big for Blake Hewlett, a driver that has so far not had the start that he might have wanted to his season. The green flag is out and in the air as they take off towards turn numbers 1 and 2. Can Hewlett go and take his first league win and his first league podium?
Robert Tester tried to get down a side draft, I think, on the 33, and they almost made contact. And there is a 33 sideways, and he's good.
Douglas Ivan.
That was actually from the Aaron Longworth, who apologized to him. Said, hey, I'm sorry for the bump there, and said he was happy he saved it.
And Blake Hewlett inexplicably moved up to the outside and just couldn't get down in time. TJ Ivy to the point, and Douglas Ivy going to go with him.
Hewlett now is always going to get put in the middle. He's going to put in the sucker hole because Tester went high. And that Siegfried up high, I do believe. Now they're going to make the run. They're going to try to get around him. Hold on, car spinning. Caution is going to be out. And we're not going to stay green all 9 laps. There's Sheen in the wall.
And they're not done yet. As back up onto the racetrack. And driver is able to get through.
There's Robert Tester. Is he stuck?
What did I tell you, Derek? There's 3 certainties in life.
Well, to be fair, we could still finish under green at a super speedway. We're not there yet. We're not to overtime yet. We're not there yet. But yeah, watch this again. Robert Tester, watch him up top here. What's going to happen here? That's going to be where this has to kick off, I do believe.
Yeah, Tester
he
bounced
comes
off
down.
the wall.
Yep, came down and got inside of Blake Hewlett, and
Jason
Tester got down. Where does happens to Hewlett? Does he end up okay out of this mostly? I can't. Yeah, he's still on track running. He somehow got away with that.
How the
and
heck
then
did Dominic's get spun?
Dominic's got caught down there. John Sheen got caught down there. Boy, with as many wrecks as there have been tonight, I don't know how you call one the big ones. I feel like they've all been big ones.
I think the biggest one still remains the opening caution we had of the night. And
Sheen, Sheen, I thought was safe down there. He thought he was safe down there.
Take a look at this one from above. There's so much that happened. This is probably going to be the only real way to get a proper look at this whole thing from start to finish. So watch Tester high. He bounces off the wall, comes down, and it's on.
Yep, so watch the bottom of your screen. Oh, there was a spin in the back. There's more cars making contact trying to avoid it. And that's how people got spun around, and caution is out. So we'll go green with likely, I bet, either 2 or 3 laps to go here. We'll get I guess you want to call it like an organic green-white checker, a homegrown green-white checker.
Is the green-white checker also grass-fed?
Grass-fed, au natural, no GMOs.
no GMOs.
Whatever you got.
That's what they call Formula E racing, Derek.
That's true. Well, let's see what's going to happen here. Lights in the pace car still with 6 to go. So we got some time here to kill under this caution. And TJ Ivy's up front, by the way. I think that's the first time tonight. I'm pretty sure TJ Ivy's going to lead any laps. He'll be up ahead of Doug Ivy. And you got Aaron Longworth and Brian Matthews and Siegfried. I'm still surprised Siegfried's up here, buddy. I just, for a car that seems so hurt, so damaged, a driver that seems so out of hope when we talked to him about an hour ago. The fact that car's up there is amazing.
And mostly clean still. He's avoided all the calamities so far, which is not something we can say for anybody else, right? Again, let's do a recap. 29 cars started this race. We have now, by my count, only 15 still on the track, and only 11 of those make that now 12 and 13 on the lead lap as we've got cars coming out of pit road. So talk about attrition tonight.
You and I discussed during one of the breaks. This might be the worst attrition we've seen in Atlanta in a while. Like this is pretty bad. Like it's just, and I don't know if it's because we don't race here enough. Maybe we've forgotten how bad it is. Because again, this track is not wide. That's what makes this different than Daytona or Talladega. Is if that wreck right there that happened about 3 laps ago now would have happened at somewhere else, that would have been wide enough that John Sheen could have got out of the way or other people could have got out of the way. But at this tight, squeezed racetrack like Atlanta, there's just nowhere to hide.
Well, it's not like Atlanta Motor Speedway doesn't get a lot of use, right? But it's usually on the older scan from 2008. That is, by and large, the preferred track that a lot of people like.
Right, I agree. I mean, I think same people like. I mean, it goes both ways. Some people really prefer this layout, but I mean, you're right. Yeah. I think, and in the world of super speedways, it's just we don't. You know, if someone said, "Hey, let's go super speedway racing," no one names this first. You know.
Well, because I mean, well, let's think of it this way. The track is narrower. You have less room to race. You can't do as much. So it's well, if we're going to go super speedway racing, why do it at what is objectively the worst of the three?
Well. Okay, of the three, because I'm gonna say, iRacing Super Speed like to have a conversation with you. If you're gonna say it's the worst super speedway, iRacing conversation like to enter the chat.
Well, that's not a real track.
That is the worst super speedway.
That's just Martinsville on steroids.
It's an awful track. So, and don't even DM me. I don't care. It's an awful track.
There's only reason I've only done one race there in Green Flag TV history. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Green Flag coming on out here.
Yeah.
4-lap dash.
So a double green white check.
Well, another caution here would officially put this race into overtime. A correction to the inside from Brian Matthews as he jumps down from the outside line, and no one following to the outside.
I think that 33 kind of missed the start, honestly. I think Doug Ivey kind of missed a gear, missed the green flag, missed something. He's falling back fast, like a rock sinking. Did I see something? I thought I saw something back there.
Yes, you did.
There's Austin Guerrero. He's down below the line. He's up on the track. He's by himself, and that's a caution. There's more cars back. That's why. I saw the car go by at the last second, and that explains it.
Yeah. Caution comes out, and this is officially overtime now. And it is going to be the first of 3 attempts. Tough ride. And that was Austin Guerrero that got spun into the inside wall. Take a look.
Let's see what's going to happen. Guerrero here. Going to watch towards the top of your screen there. He's up top by himself. Does he come down? Does someone come up?
It looked like Seto came up a little bit.
I think someone came up, yeah, and then got him involved, and around he went. And this isn't a wreck. This would have been race-wise okay as he comes back up the track. He's got that thing locked down. He's doing nothing wrong. But if this plays long enough, you'll see there's a couple more cars in the back here. They're going to come on around, and you can't risk that. So that's why that is, in fact, a caution. Well, I know you talked about it earlier, buddy, but we're not done tonight on Green Flag TV. As we're watching this replay, and boy, in full speed looks way worse, doesn't it? Obviously. And you'll see the time gap here is not as big as it looked like under slow motion. And there's the car coming around, and that's why we're under the yellow flag. Well, you mentioned earlier, this is a busy weekend, a busy week, a busy month for Green Flag TV. So tomorrow, it's Lucas Moody, Gary Godso. They're going to have the penultimate race for VOR at Milwaukee. Tomorrow night, yourself and Lucas Moody, the SRA at Indianapolis. That's the truck series.
Las Vegas.
No, they moved to Indianapolis.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Interesting.
Also, you're there Sunday for qualifying day for the Classic IndyCar Series to help set up their Indy 500. Monday night, yourself and Justin Prince, round 3 of the High Tide Racing League at Las Vegas. So it's going to be a fun race to talk about. There's a couple drivers, a couple names missing for that race due to suspensions. Tuesday nights, it will be the Mars at Bristol Limited Racing Series. Catch this one. I'm looking forward to this. Wednesday night, PSR at Coda. Myself and Evan Pasoko. It's a playoff cutoff race. There are 4 drivers who are win and in. That's their only way into the playoffs to see if they can beat Ted Lowendick for that final playoff spot to make it to the Final Four. I'm excited for that. Ted Lowendick is a really well-rounded road driver who needs to defend his spot, and I'm excited because it's a Coda race that has a story, so it's going to be fun all night long. And then, of course, you and Finn Acini at the Beer League, and they'll announce that track on Wednesday with the Formula Vs, I do believe.
That is next week. It's the Pro 2 Light Off-Road
Oh, that's
trucks.
right. You're correct. Yes, you're right. That is Pro 2 Light.
Last time they went oval racing at Homestead Miami Speedway for their 15-minute sprint race, and it gave me a lot of very dangerous ideas for one-off events for us in the off-season here, Derek.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. But all right, well, what I am looking forward to is this right here. Green, white, checker. There's a gap in that lane as Dominic's need to pull up. There's got to be someone. There it is, out of lane. I thought so. That Reese's Pieces car, I thought may have been in the wrong lane. So let's set it up here. It's TJ Ivy in the bottom lane. He'll have Joshua Siegfried behind him. You got Aaron Longworth, who's now up in P2. He'll have M. Brian Matthews behind him. So one more new driver up front who wants to win this. Can we go 2 laps? History says maybe.
It's a solid, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
So-
the 8-ball, the magic 8-ball says all signs are fuzzy. Please ask again later.
It's like when a dice gets caught on like its side, like against the dice roll.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what
Yeah.
number is that? Do we re-roll? I guess we re-roll.
Yeah. It's right now stuck between maybe and maybe not.
TJ Ivy leading the way. Joshua Siegfried behind him. On the outside, it's Aaron Longworth and Brian Matthews. Neither driver in the top 4 has won a race in the second season of the ZTRL Racing League. It's overtime, attempt number 1 of 3. Green flag is in the air, and we're back to racing, and Longworth pinches and Ivy nearly turns him.
Oh boy, that was, I said maybe not, and they proved me right almost right there. Here we are at turn 1 for the penultimate time. Ivy just needs to hold the bottom of this racetrack. I think if Ivy holds the bottom, Nolan, no one gets around him.
That's going to be a big ask, though, if somebody gives them a really hard shove. Meanwhile, they're drafting it up behind. Drivers bumper to bumper, almost a 4-car tandem. Look at the 584 of Farless punching long without the racetrack. And now Siegfried going for the lead on the front straightaway.
Oh, here we are. White flags in the air. No
Oh,
caution.
boy.
We're going to race it through. Does not matter behind us. We're going to race it through. Oh, my God. There is a pass up front. Siegfried's up. He's got Ivy now behind him. He's got M. Bryant Matthews behind him. It's going to be a 2
Oh, he's turned!
line draft.
Joshua Siegfried down the inside of the racetrack. TJ Ivy takes it back. Robert Tester trying to battle back for 3rd. Ivy looking for the lead. Can Tester get back around him and take his 2nd win of the season? TJ Ivy out in front, out of turn 4. No one's going to get there, and Ivy holds on to win at the EchoPark Speedway.
Wow.
Holy cow, what a final lap.
We ended the lap with the driver up front who started the green white checker, but it wasn't always that way. That was busy.
And granted, we will look at the entirety of the final lap in full in just a moment, because there's a lot to talk about. Right there, Siegfried got bumped for the lead, and that is what the decider was at the end of the day.
Oh, and thank you to Siegfried for not doing something bad. I thought for just half a second was he going to come up too far. He kept it under control and got back to P3 in line, and it's going to let Ivy go on through. But this is the finish. But remember, Ivy started the 2 to go in the lead and gave it up to Siegfried at the white flag. Watch it here. I think this will be from the start. Well, this will be our burnout, so we'll come back to that in a second. There is Ivy burning it down and celebrating. But if we start from the whole white flag lap, you're going to see that. I mean, in the course of that lap, Ivy gave up the lead and took it back.
He got moved up high. It was a bump and run entering turn number 3, and this is going to be for the entirety of the final run here. And you're going to watch Siegfried make that move. And then, of course, there was a multitude of crashes on that final lap as well. It was coming down to the turn number 3. You see him leaning on him, moves up top. Ivy moved up to block, and boy, what a dummy that he got sold in. There is the vicious hit into the outside wall for Chris Gaxel.
Yep, another spin up front. So right there, more cars spinning through, but you're right, that was a bump and run, and then back here through the corners where you saw earlier that first replay. It's right about there.
Jeez
And
Louise,
up,
then.
Ivy.
Oh man, someone else tanked the
More
inside
wrecked.
wall.
Yep. That step toe.
Yes, it is. That is Jason Steptoe that pound to the outside wall, and then try as he may, they couldn't get it.
No.
Man, oh man. Siegfried almost pulled off the biggest sell of a dummy that we have sent. I mean, talk about the over-under. That was a perfectly executed fake, and at the end of the day, it comes down to a very physical fight to close out the battle. Well, with TJ Ivy taking home the race win, it is Robert Tester back in number 2. Siegfried will finish out the podium, and I have a feeling that Siegfried is going to be back at Richmond with a vengeance. Ivy's made it clear he's willing to fight with the chrome horn to get the win, and he won't be the only one at the action track. Brian Matthews comes on 4th, Douglas Ivy on 5th, Farless, Guerrero, Longworth, Dominics, and Malam finish out the top 10.
We're back into P11 here. You'll find Stephen Blevins and Blake Hewlett. And then Jason Steptoe, the last cars to finish on the lead lap. Chris Gaxel 1 lap down. And then these cars now 2 or more laps down. Ronnie Watts, Daniel Holman, Dave Shively, Frank Chavez, Jamie Lee Dunning, and John Sheen. Round out your top 20.
21st back to 29th, it's Terrence Murphy, Willie Smith, Evan Stewart, Dean Howard, Ted Gamble, Akari King Wright, Adam Hoagland, Eric Morton, and Wayne Graves, all failing to finish racing action tonight. At the bottom 3 collected, and they crash back on lap number 2. Well, let's take a rundown and give a chit-chat in here to the 3 drivers that finished this race on the podium. And we'll look to kick things off first and foremost with TJ Ivey coming home number 1 here at the end of the night. And TJ, what an intense final lap for you. You got sold the dummy in turn number 3, and then in turn 2, you put the bumper to Joshua Siegfried to take that spot right back. Talk us through those final 60 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild. He got I got loose coming out of 2. That's when he got underneath me, and then you know, I just stayed with him. And I mean, I'm sure you guys know with Atlanta, like those cars are super squirrely coming out of and going into corners. And I don't think I touched him. I think I got just close enough where he was turning, and he just kept turning and stayed in the gas.
Well, overall, it was a very hard-fought win here at the end of the season. But even despite, you know, the bump there, you took care of Siegfried. It still wasn't over because you had Testa to contend with. And Testa's won a race before at Daytona by just a couple of thousands. Was he the one that was next up in your mirror, or were you just cruising away to victory at that point?
Yeah, 100%. He was the one to watch up front. He wanted to be the one leading. He was getting those side drafts pretty good and staying on the outside. So once I got past the 2, I kind of let off a little bit to back up to the 22, just so he didn't have as big a run to me, and just mirror drove all the way to the finish line.
Well, coming on up, it's, of course, the action track, and it's dubbed as such for the reason. You see the incident of this final lap here one way. I'm sure Joshua might see it another. Are you going to be looking out for him come the action track this coming week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I would hope not. Whatever. Like I said, I don't think I touched him. But could have been some netcode or something, but no, I don't. I think we'll be good. Looking forward to Richmond. It's a fun track too, right? Short track, going from kind of this intermediate super speedway to a short track. It'll be a fun time.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we return to racing action. Congratulations on taking home your first win of the season and becoming the 5th different win in as many races. We'll see you next week in Richmond.
Appreciate you guys.
TJ Ivey comes home number 1 this afternoon, and Derek, you have caught up with number 2, Robert Tester, the winner from Daytona, coming up just short tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, I certainly did. I was hoping for Super Speedway to win number 2 this season. Robert, that was a wild ride in the last lap that you just kind of got to be a passenger for. What were your hopes in turn 3 and 4? Did you think you had a shot at it?
I don't know. I just kept it wide open. I was hoping I'd get up to him, but me and Josh were side by side entering 3 and 4, so I knew there was no way I could get a run. If you don't get a run before 3, you're not getting a run before the finish line. But
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I went to go push Josh, but I think we crisscrossed each other there. I went to go low, and he went high a little. So, and I went to push Brian on the exit at 2, and I tapped him spot.
Yeah. So a pretty crazy night overall. You yourself involved in a wreck about, 10, 15 laps ago where the kind of got down into a car and their car kind of kept running. So what's your overall takeaway from tonight? Maybe calamity might be a word, or what's the thoughts here?
Yeah, this track is a different breed. I don't know. I don't know. It's a crazy track. Car was loose throughout almost every part of the turn. If you get too close to someone, you take the air off the spoiler and they get loose. The dog leg is awful. Not too many positives I can say about the track, but the racing was fun. I felt like we held up.
Fair to say you might be looking forward to Martinsville next week?
I think it's Richmond, actually. Yeah, Richmond.
Oh, Richmond. I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. You're Richmond. You're exactly correct.
Yeah. It's going to be a change of pace. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, just you guys in the booth, the league, everyone that came out to race and support us, my family, yeah, just everyone out there just watching and enjoying it. Hopefully that was fun for the crowd to watch.
Well, listen, it's always a pleasure watching you race. We'll wish you good luck next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, awesome, guys. See you later.
That is Robert Tester finishing P2. And then we'll move up to the driver who I'm most curious to hear the thoughts of. We talked to him earlier, Joshua Siegfried. Joshua, that last lap, I'm just curious what your take is.
Oh, I mean, it is what it is. I kind of got a little tight. I came down. He got into me a little bit. It just was enough to get me sideways. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's Atlanta. But I cannot believe I finished third place with this car.
Yeah, we talked to you about an hour ago, and based upon the tone of your voice and the situation, P3, I'm sure even to you, sounded very unlikely in that moment.
Yeah, it was tough, trust me. But with all the wrecks and stuff, it honestly helped. Car just wasn't there. I was loose the whole night after that wreck. Got everything fixed. It wasn't right. So I don't know what else I could have done there with TJ. I mean, well, Ivy, yeah. He did a good job.
Well, we move ahead in 1 week's time to Richmond. What's your outlook for that?
I'm hoping to carry momentum into Richmond and have the same pace I did tonight. Well, hopefully don't end up in the wall, but yeah, hopefully another good finish next week. So.
All right. Well, listen, we'll look forward to seeing you there. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to say thank you guys for broadcasting. You guys take your time, dealing with all the wrecks and everything. But, yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week.
Certainly will. Well, listen, good luck, and we'll see you soon.
Yep.
All right, that is Joshua Siegfried. And Nolan, he sounded as surprised as anyone that he finished P3.
And all of that takes us home to racing action this afternoon. So it sounds like no hard feelings at the end of the day, despite quite the wild finish that we had here today. Derek, obviously, this race was a rough ride for a lot of drivers, and I have a feeling that Richmond is going to be no different.
Yeah, maybe a little slower, a little smaller of a track, but just as much beaten, banging, calamity, and maybe even more tempers than we saw in Hotlanta.
Well, when we go racing next time up, it's going to be tomorrow for the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. That is going to be at, of course, the Milwaukee Mile for the penultimate race of their season. And later on that night, it's the SRA Super Speedway Blitz at Indianapolis. Classic IndyCar Series action kicks off with Pole Day on Sunday with the High Tide Race League out of America's gambling capital on Monday. Mars will be taking it to Bristol for the Mid-Atlantic Race Series, and then PSR and Beer League out for more at Circuit of the Americas. And, well, we don't know quite where yet, but I'm sure we'll find out before too long here as well. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. An extremely wild way to close out racing action here tonight, and there's still more racing yet to come. We'll see you when we go racing tomorrow for more on Saturday.